Acid rain is rain that is more acidic than can be accounted for by natural processes. There is considerable scientific concern as to whether acid rain affects lakes and streams, alters crop yields, damages buildings and other artifacts, and threatens forests and possibly human health. This program profiles scientific research into acid rain, tracing and measuring its transformations in the ecosystem to better understand it, as well as detailing some possible modifications of its sources and consequences. Rain, nourisher of the earth, a life-giving natural process. To understand acid rain, let us consider first how rain itself is produced. From the surfaces of trees and plants, and the seas and oceans, water evaporates and rises into the atmosphere. As the air and water vapor rise, they cool. The cooler the air, the less moisture it can support. The excess moisture condenses on the surfaces of microscopic airborne particles of dust, soil, and sea salt. These tiny particles become nuclei or centers of the water droplets that make up clouds, growing as more moisture condenses on them. Droplets also collide and combine. In time, they become too heavy to remain in the air and fall as rain or snow or hail. By which acid rain interacts with the environment are many and complex, aspects of it are still incompletely understood. For example, a National Academy of Sciences report notes a big drop in sulfur dioxide emissions due to new clean air standards, shown by this graph. Yet rain acidity for that period showed no significant change, as the bottom graph shows. This suggests emissions linked to acid rain is not a simple cause and effect pattern. Similar questions arise about the health of forests. Tree health variations attributed by some to acid rain are complex and poorly understood processes. Such forest health problems could be due to droughts, temperature extremes, pest damage, tree diseases, or new types of air pollutants, such as heavy metals and ozone. Research is now focusing on various aspects of acidity in the environment. At Whiteface Mountain in the Adirondacks, New York State University experts are sampling both clouds and precipitation to assess how much acidity-related rain arrives in this sensitive region. At this site, the research station is located within cloud cover almost half the year, making it easier to measure cloud acidity, chemical composition, and other characteristics. While what is measured may have been transported from hundreds of miles away, its exact significance is still unknown. The station is equipped to determine how much of what substances arrive and from what direction they came, but for now it cannot determine where they originated. At Oak Ridge National Laboratory in Tennessee, other experts are studying acid rain between the time when it touches the treetops and when it gets to the ground. By monitoring rain chemistry above the forest canopy at various levels within it and on the forest floor, they've learned that there is often a major chemical change as the rain filters down through the vegetation. In fact, some acid rain striking some treetops is considerably reduced in acidity by the time it reaches the lower leaves. Its acidity reduced by the foliage. Why and how that happens is a subject of ongoing research. Another research focus is the dry deposition on the leafy canopy, gases, minute wind-blown particles, and larger ones that settle out. Samplers absorb the particles, filter out gases, and remove material from leaf surfaces. Electron microscope analysis will show the components of this dry deposition. Controlled field experiments done here are attempting to separate the effects on vegetation of gaseous pollutants like ozone and compounds of nitrogen and sulfur from the effects of acid rain itself. Natural rainfall is excluded or acid rainfall simulated to achieve precipitation events with various chemistries. At Ohio State University, starting from the assumption that all possible sources of acidification must be considered, a project is measuring the effects of surface and subsurface acidity on crops. Such natural sources include soil microorganisms and other producers of acidifying compounds. Native soils from Ontario, Ohio, Michigan, and other areas are used for growing various tree species with simulated acid rain. The resulting effects on growth are then measured. Tests also measure impacts on unmanaged natural ecosystems as opposed to laboratory simulations. Other soil studies explain one puzzle in acid rain research: why adjacent lakes can have very different acidity levels, though both presumably get the same amounts of rainfall. The answer is that most rain that enters a lake does not fall directly into it, but drains in through the surrounding forest basin, so forest soil structure and porosity are critical. Raindrops reaching the forest floor are filtered by two soil layers: an acidic top layer of decayed organic matter, which gradually raises the acidity of the water passing through it. Below this lies the mineral soil, which is acid neutralizing. In this lake basin with thick mineral soil, acidity is neutralized or buffered as the rainwater filters slowly through. But some forest basins have only very thin layers of mineral soil. For these, rainwater acidified by the organic soil layer enters the lake with much less neutralizing. It follows that rain falling on such terrain, no matter what its chemistry, will be more acidic when it drains into the local lakes. Another project in the Adirondacks is probing how acid rain interacts after it enters bodies of water. The project involves measuring lakes' acid levels and metal content, changes in these over the year, and how they alter the local ecology. Such studies are difficult. Local geology varies widely, so even lakes relatively close together can show very different natural chemical makeups. Moreover, a lake may be acidic, yet contain an abundance of life, algae, insects, even fish. On the other hand, spring snowmelts have been associated with deaths in lake fish populations. The project scientists hope to determine which facts and changes are critical. Finally, Cornell University scientists are studying how acidity moves through a watershed. This one has a clear gradient in acidity, going from high levels at the headwaters to low levels at the bottom of the drainage system. To measure fish distribution, sampling was done relative to acidity levels. Electrofishing equipment allowed the fish to be captured alive. Tentative results show that the strongly acidified headwaters contain few fish species. But as the acid levels decline in the watershed, more fish are found. This relationship was verified by experiment, moving fish into different parts of the basin and measuring survival rates relative to local chemistry. The studies may lead to improved fish management techniques. Experts are also seeking ways to overcome the effects of acidity. Liming has proved successful in reducing the acidity of lakes with low drainage rates. While one-time restocking of limed water bodies has proved effective in restoring fish populations. With respect to industrial and other power production, the use of low-sulfur coal reduces emissions levels, while scrubbers, complex gas treatment plants, remove solid particles and sulfur dioxide from stack emissions. Research continues. Hundreds of field teams are now cataloging bodies of water, collecting samples at various depths together with life forms for later analysis. Their measurements, made over several seasons, become a database for trend analysis, measuring environmental changes over 10 years, or 20, or 50. In our time, acid rain has become a subject of international concern and scientific research. It is critical that we protect our environment. The question is, how best to do this? Scientists are seeking the answers.